Recently on my streams, I've been playing the new map on my Barbarian, and a lot of people have been asking me what are the build that I'm using. Well, I'm here to tell you it is actually a very strong build that I've been finding a lot of success with it. It is the Wrath of Berserk, it is the Sprint, the Hammer of the Ancients, and the Undying Rage. So the main core mechanic out of this is not probably a new build, it is just a build that I really haven't tried on Barbarian yet, and it is working extremely good. And I'm gonna explain all this mechanic and why it may not be for you, because it's gonna require a lot of grinding when it comes to the gear. But if you get it and you already have this dodge and evasion gear, if you put this build, you're gonna see your tankiness, even as a low resistance, go really high. So for the shoulders, we are using the Broken Grasp, that every time that you actually gonna use the sprint, you're gonna boost your evasion by 20%. If I go here and I put the sprint and I go here into my attributes, you're gonna see that my evasion is 20%. And every time that you're gonna evade, you're gonna get a shield of 5%. But if you have a 4 out of 4 like I do, it is gonna be 20%. And every time that you gonna get a shield, you also gonna get 2 charges that is gonna absorb 50% of the damage in a single hit. Also cannot occur more than 12 seconds, and these can also be stacked up. So right now we have 100%, and there is more, because if you actually go and you use here on your substats, you can also increase even higher your evasion rating. So I have here 3 out of 4 on the evasion rating is increased by nearby enemies up to 8%. Times 3 is gonna be 24%, and it can go up to 32%. Now here on the helmet, we are using the Ancestral Steel. This one, the Undying Rage, is increased by 1 second, but it's not really 1 second, it is more than that, because you got like the beneficial effect, and also you can get 13% more cooldown reduction on your Undying Rage, and like that you're just gonna be constantly on your Undying Rage most of the times. It is really good. On the chest piece, we are using the Remnant Rage to pretty much just buff up the damage of our Ota up to 74%, plus the Awakened slot 10%. It is huge. Now here for the pants, we're using the Snowdrifter that is gonna give you a shield, and it's gonna slow down and give you all this damage of loss of control for your bar. But mainly we are looking for the sprint cooldown reduction. So whenever the sprint is down, you can always be, or always try to be, in a state that you are always having the evasion rate up, and that's what you want, because this build relies a lot of you having your sprint up, because when you do, you have your evasion up. Then we are using here the Rage Collar, that whenever you hit them with a hammer, you're gonna pretty much slow them down. The Stonefall is gonna increase damage on your hammer by 20%. And if you see here, now we have here Hammer of the Ancients cooldown, it is decreased by 10% on the Awakened slots. So now just by having these two, we actually have 20% cooldown reduction. So you guys remember in the past, this was like kind of useless because Ota didn't really have cooldown, but now it does. But because we have this cooldown reduction, this actually becomes like slightly less, which is a good thing. Then we have here, of course, the Flicker Tone, which is the main responsible for all this damage, and all the Ota builds that whenever you do damage, you have 5 charges that you can actually trigger on your Hammer of the Ancient. The more you have, the bigger the radius of your hammer is going to be, and the bigger the damage. So this is really nice. Also increase 10% of your damage on the Oten with the Awaken. And last but not least, we use the Bark Breaker. This one is also another big source of your damage output, especially on the idol. Whenever you are in your Berserker form, you're actually getting a lot of shield, but also you retaliating a lot of damage, and you are also like spreading your dots. It is very cool. For the set items, we are using here 4 pieces Mountebanks for the extra shield, and 4 pieces Vitus. Gonna increase the duration of your buffs by 30%, and also your attack speed. Some people also prefer to actually go and get like 2 pieces Banquets to increase the damage that you do by 15%, or 2 pieces Barons. Is up to you. Personally, I like this because not only gives me a buff to myself, but also to my party. I like it a lot. So now let's get into the legendary gem setup. We are using here the Everlasting Torment and also our Viper's Bite. These are our 2 dots. Why they are important? Because whenever you spread them with your Bark Breaker, it's gonna be easier for you to go and recharge your Ota with the 5 stacks and do do a big damage. That's like the main purpose. Then we have the Bloodsoaked Jade, which is gonna increase our movement speed by 10% and also our damage. The new 2-star, this is really good because it's gonna increase the damage that we do to the target, but also it's gonna increase our critical hit chance. We have the Running Consequence, gonna increase our crit, is very good. Morn Skull to increase our damage and also do like some extra AoE damage. Mother's Lament is gonna increase our critical hit chance. And finally we have the Pain Class, which is gonna increase our damage whenever the enemy is suffering from a continual damage effect. And this one, it kind of doesn't require to be your own dots, can be a dot from anyone on your team, and is very good. So for the runes, I want to give like 2 special mentions. One, it is for the blue rune Vox on your chest piece. It's gonna increase here the evasion rating, and this is like very key for you to actually go and get it. You can also get it here on the pants. This resistance whenever you drop below 10% is gonna give you a massive shield. 20% actually is gonna be more because I already have 2 stacks, so this can also be an extra shield, a lifesaver on top of it. And if you go to your movement speed, your base movement speed isn't at 20%, you can always go and slot in one of these SA blue runes, and it's gonna give you some extra movement speed. Whatever you have it is very good. So now let's go here into our PvP Reforge set. We are using Vengeance. Damage to shielded enemies is increased by 5%. A lot of people have shields, so it's really nice. Damage to enemies suffering loss of control. Remember, every time we hit with a Hota, we are applying the slow. Also, there's wizards. Also, like if we go near it with our sprint shield, we also gonna give them loss of control. It is really good. Damage to players, always good, because this stat, it is not nerfed in PvP. Then we have duration to beneficial effects. We want to have those shields, all these buffs, you want them to have the max duration as you can. And finally, we have damage taken from players, it reduced by 5%. Talking about the substats, damage to players and damage taken from players is reduced, is the thing that you always want to go. Movement speed, damage done to players. You have here movement speed, damage done to players. Then we have here damage done to players. Then you have here movement speed and damage taken from players. And then we also have here damage taken from players is reduced. Whenever you go and you start stacking these for PvP, it's gonna make a huge difference because you can stack them in all your Reforge sets and all your substats here on your green set items. It is very powerful. Another Reforge alternative that you can actually go, it is with a barrier. It's gonna make you slightly more tanky, and you can actually have duration to beneficial effect. Damage taken from player is reduced by 1%. Fear resistant, damage taken to nearby enemies, and maximum life. These ones are all pretty good, and this is pretty much gonna have a chance of just giving you an extra shield. I also like it. I go like maybe with a half, or like sometimes I go like full tank or full damage. It really depends on where I'm at and what are the enemies that I'm facing. They both work extremely well. For the Paragon, we are using the Gladiator. This is the one I found the most success. We have the first aid that pretty much is gonna recover a lot of your HP. It comes clutch a lot of times, and I really like it. We're using the Grizzly Veteran. That's gonna reduce the damage that you take by 4%. It's gonna increase the damage that you do for 4%. We're using the Cheat Death. Whenever you die, you get a revival. Pretty cool. And the Uncontrollable, you're gonna become immune to some sort of CC every 30 seconds. The special legendary one, it is a benefactor for that extra juicy shield. Obviously, here on the pet, all you need it is to have here a pet that is gonna have the savior. Nothing else matters. Try to have a pet with the savior, the highest resilience that you can, so it reduces the cooldown of your savior. Besides that, we have here the Warband Room. You already know, if you are doing PvP, you always want to go with a protected. That's gonna increase the block chance by 5%. It's also gonna create some damage to take and reduce. Also gonna give you an extra shield if you have the Avin's Bane. And above all, you want to have the Shepherd's Burden. Increase your life and size by 15%. This one, it is really good. So whenever you have all these things together, you're just gonna become like a powerhouse, like way more tanky than ever before. And so I hope you found like something useful on this guide. For me, it's been working incredibly well. Have in mind that if you don't have the endured set items and all these things, this is not gonna perform that well, and for that you maybe want to go with the Spartusk or the Auto Chains. Probably is gonna work better for you, but this is where I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I wanted to share with you. So it is, don't forget to like, subscribe, and type cheese in the comments so I know that you guys are the legends that keep carrying this channel to the roof. And as always, legends, thank you for watching, and I catch you guys on live stream. Peace.